Hello, I'm Lisa Smith here on Southern Exposure. Thanks so much for being with us. I am at a really cool place in Rome. We are here at the Richard B. Russell Airport, but even more importantly, we're actually in the hangar for TigerFlight. And of course, we've talked about TigerFlight before, so I am so honored to have a dear friend of mine and a new friend I just met on the set with us today. We're going to be talking about kind of the history of TigerFlight, where they are now since they've been in Rome for so many years, and of course, what the future looks like, which of course is very bright. My friend of Phil, Sonny Cataldo, and of course you'll know Sonny when you see him from the Blue Skies moment, and then my new friend is Rich Hayes, and Rich of course is one of the pilots here on this formation flight team. It was kind of fun. We were just talking the other day that this is Rome's own formation flight team. It's the only one. I love it. I think that's really important. And it's the only one in Georgia too, so we have several claims to fame.
Exactly.
So thank you all for joining me today, and I just kind of want to get everybody up to speed. It's been a while since we've done an interview where I guess some of the first ones were kind of why you were in Rome, what your plan was, and most of all, what was the dream and the vision that brought you here. So we'll take it from the top. Take us back all those years ago.
Oh my gosh. That was 2001 when two of us got together with these Alon type airplanes and started flying formation together. And it was 2005 when we were static display. That's where we weren't flying at a show, but we were static display at Dobbins Air Force Base. And the planes were not painted at that time. And these two fellows walked up to us and asked us what we were doing. We just told them we were doing formation flying, and that was it. And they left, and they came back about a half hour later, and it was Hans Rogers and Mike Matthews.
Two guys from Rome.
Yeah, Mike was the manager, and Hans Rogers was the president of the airport commission. And we didn't know that at the time, but they came back and they asked us if we needed a home. And of course, we got very excited about that because we were all from different airports flying. There were actually 5 of us at that time. And we were all parking our airplanes outside. And he said, well, we've got this old World War II Navy hangar in Rome, Georgia. We said, really? And so they opened the doors for us. We came up, met with the airport commission, and moved in 2005, like I said. And ever since then, I mean, Rome's been a big home for us. And we don't live in Rome. A lot of people
None
don't.
Of you guys live here.
Just one. I think Joel
lives in Venice now.
Well, that's right. He's not even in Rome.
No, so we have
He's even
no
further
Romanians.
away.
No Romanians.
Well, we are happy that you're here, and of course, you're a big integral part of our community. We see your formation flight team over a lot of important events here, including the Rome Braves game.
Right.
So it's really neat. How did you get involved, Rich?
I got involved because I came up here in another aircraft, and I was parked right out by the fixed base operator. And I saw the hangar doors opened up, and I kind of peeked in, and lo and behold, Sonny comes popping out. And with his personality, you know, he's all Googles about trying to get other members to join. And so I said, well, how do you join? And what's your mission? And I looked around and I said, these are fantastic facilities that you have here. And these old Alons, which are really an incredible airplane, they're all painted the same. This is wonderful. How do I get into this? And he goes, well, he says, what's your experience and what do you want to do? And this is our mission. And I said, this is wonderful. So that was back in 2014, not too long ago. Yeah.
2014?
Yeah, 6 years ago. So I'm kind of a new guy. However, right after that, we had a surge of pilots that came on.
Nice.
And a lot of the people that I knew in aviation, I got them to come up here and look at it, and they just fell in love with it. I mean, the mission is wonderful. We have a fantastic mission working with kids and adults. Of course, we enjoy the flying portion of it. And this airplane, this Alon, when we fly formation, and I've flown a lot of airplanes in formation, I've flown 111s, F4s, F-15s. This airplane is the most difficult airplane to fly in formation. And the reason being is because it's only going 80 to 90 miles an hour, not even knots.
100.
If you stretch it,
110.
If you can stretch it, you can go a little faster, but the less relative wind that you have over those flight controls, it becomes very, very difficult. So my job as a chief pilot is to make sure that we have qualified pilots and that are flying our aircraft, and we bring them up to a standard that we have, which is a pretty high standard here at TigerFlight, so that we feel that they are the safest pilots that they can possibly be. And they're FAA qualified pilots. Some of them don't have that much flying time. That's fine. We'll bring them up to our standards. And we have standard operating procedures. We have a training facility that we utilize them. We'd like to get them up to be formation pilots if we can, or if they're interested. And it's a lot of work for us, but we thoroughly enjoy it. I mean, that's why we're here. Obviously, we don't get paid for this.
I was about to say, because you really are volunteers.
Our pay is watching these young kids mature and mentoring them. That's our payment, which is, that's wonderful. We
Making
really
a
get lot of
difference. So let's go and talk about your mission a little bit. What is the mission for this? You're working with adults and children, but what are you doing with those kids?
Well, there's a lot of components to it, but I want to add something. I want to brag on him. In 2014, when Skid showed up, really made a huge difference to me because Lieutenant Colonel in the Air Force, flying my favorite. I'm civilian trained, and we've got several pilots like Skid, F-15s, 111s, F-4s.
The big guys.
Well, but he brings and they bring so much to the team with their experience. I mean, he's going to blush. I mean, he's got we call it ATL, all the letters. Air transport pilot, flew for the majors, captain, and that brought so much credibility to TigerFlight.
Sure.
To have guys like that, and he's the chief pilot. He's the boss.
And how many pilots are there in all?
10 at the moment, but going to 14.
Going to 14 very quickly.
Yeah,
that's
wonderful. It looks like 14 now.
So the mission for TigerFlight.
And then with the kids side, we have ROTC cadets that are ground crew.
That's nice. What a neat way to get them involved.
Yeah, and we're now doing it's the Boy Scout Aviation Merit Badge, right?
Correct.
Training here. It's very unusual for the Boy Scouts in that when they do the merit badges right now, I mean, it's a wonderful program, and pilots kick in all over the place to help them out with that merit badge doing the ground school. But the added extra attraction is with us, they actually get to fly.
So they get to go up with one of your pilots.
Yes, they do.
That's awesome.
Yes, they do. And so
probably most of them is the first time they've ever flown, I'm sure.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's a full day class for them. It's not just come out here, take a look at an airplane and walk around. We give them an hour and a half of academics on everything from aerodynamics to airspace to, what makes an airplane fly, to studying a little bit about weather. And then we do a complete walk around an airplane. It may not even be an Ailon. I mean, we've got T-28s back here, C-42s. We've got all sorts of different airplanes out here that we can show them. So they really get a hands-on of what this all is all about. And the Boy Scouts of America, we have a very, very good relationship with them because they love to bring these kids out. And the parents love to see that their kids that are actually maturing, where we can mentor them because this is our life. This is what we do. And so they get a little taste of our world, our aviation world.
And role models, and of course, the end result is to hopefully share the love of flight.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe they'll move into
the role
the
model part, I think, is huge. They get to hang around. These are all my heroes. I always wanted to be a fighter pilot, and I didn't get to do that. So I get, and it's a lot like a squad in some ways. When you say it's kind of like a squad.
Sure, it is.
Yeah.
And
the other fascinating thing is, as much as Skid was just talking about this, the machines that these guys flew, they love flying these airplanes, which I always, it just fascinates me, and I've heard from more than one guy, it's been all about just the real flying. They're just cool little airplanes. So.
Well, of course they're beautiful, and what a great backdrop. And you do have a wonderful home here at Richard B. Russell and Admiral Towers Field. I think that most people do not realize how unique it is that we have you here. And again, I'm not kidding when I say you're the only formation flight team in the state of Georgia.
Well, there's more uniqueness to it too, in that we're the only civilian formation flight team in the world directly related to the Flying Tigers of World War II through Claire Chenault's family. And these guys are the only pilots in the world to fly these airplanes in formation. And they're the only guys that, you know, I mean, they're it. They're it. And I make a big deal out of it. I'm not, you know, I think the guys realize that how special they are, and they really are. And then the other part of the program is the character development program, which is really beginning to kick up and really start taking root, which I think is something that could take us national. And the folks can find out more about TigerFlight by going to TigerFlight.org. And it'll have all the programs in there. And the biggest push we're doing right now is it does, the pilots volunteer their time and their money. I mean, these guys have put in an awful lot to just keep this operation going. And with this new expansion now of the character development program, we're going to have to go out and hire professionals to help us with the content to this. And it's about talking to kids about being pilot in command of their own lives. We call it a flight plan for life. They're actually, if you think about it every day, we're all flying from point A to point B. And we have, and we're trying to give these kids that flight plan of how, you know, you're responsible. You're the pilot in command. You were designed to succeed. Grab a dream, set goals, measure results, have a plan, take action. And there's so much content that we could create about that the really big dream for me, and I know some of the guys probably smile at it once in a while, because I'm kind of the guy that goes after Moby Dick in a rowboat and takes the tartar sauce. And they have to pull me in now and then. But to create that content, I want to see a Jake and the TigerFlight TV show one day. We've got a book out already, Jake.
You do have a book. I was going to mention that. Where's your book available? Is it on Amazon?
Amazon, right,
Okay.
Amazon. But they can go, the folks can go to TigerFlight.org and become a TigerFlight crew member. It's all of $15. And that would really be a huge, huge help to keeping this going.
So let's talk about ways people can help. Obviously, it sounds like you're pilots, you're pretty good on pilots.
Yes.
So, but it sounds like you could use some volunteers, especially when you have the school kids here.
Oh, yeah.
So how do people get involved besides, we'll go back and touch on monetary again, but how do people become volunteers and get involved with your program?
Just get to the website. There's a place, I think it's info@TigerFlightFoundation.org, but you can get to it by TigerFlight.org. And just shoot an email off to our operations people, and somebody will give you a call from TigerFlight. If you'd like us to, we also, in the formation side, a big part of it that we're getting a lot of calls for now is we do the missing man formation, and we can do flyovers for football games and baseball games. And with great honor to us, we are sadly have done a lot of flyovers for funerals, military funerals, the missing man flyover. We're available for that also. So TigerFlight.org, you can get all the information there about all the programs. And on Saturdays, just about every Saturday, somebody's up here at Richard B. Russell Airport in Rome, Georgia, in the hangar, so you can come by. And we say the hangar too, because as you mentioned earlier, it's TigerFlight and the Museum of Flight are here. And for a fun Saturday, come by and visit. You might meet Skid, if he's not working so hard. This guy's the hardest working guy you ever, flies all the time.
Well, and there's always a docent here too with the museum, which of course I met Tony from Australia today, and
Yes.
he was a Vietnam vet, so you'll always run into some fabulous veterans
And
here.
see some very cool airplanes.
Yes, as you can tell from the backdrop here. Right. So TigerFlight.org is the way to get our information. That's where you sign up to be a volunteer, but most of all, you can sign up with your time, but we also definitely need monetary, because it is very
time.
expensive, just like renting a car or any kind of item. It's expensive to keep this team up. And I think the latest, probably if you read the newspaper locally, you know that there was a very heavy charge for you to purchase your airplanes.
Yes. Well, the airplanes now are owned by pilots, and what's beginning to happen, which is wonderful, because it's been every operation's got a weak point. And I don't mean weak in the individuals at all, but we've had airplanes get sold off, and it's not easy, one, to find these airplanes and to get them in this paint job. And so the foundation's really making a big push to own the aircraft, but I can tell folks that it's flying with a purpose. It's not, and I'm not putting down other pilots at all. I mean, we love pilots. I mean, we're flying is our passion, but we need TigerFlight to actually own these airplanes. And we were able to, and the team amazingly got together and we were able to buy one. And over the next year and a half, but most of the money that comes in really is going to be in support. We're going to try to do some fundraising events, but the money that comes in through the foundation, through the website to become a TigerFlight crew member really is in support of keeping this home. We've got to pay for it, and to, again, the kids program and hiring professionals to get this content put together. I think we can take it national.
So
That's me going after Moby Dick.
Of course it is, and that's nothing wrong with that. On Amazon, the name of the book?
Jake and the TigerFlight.
Okay, so you could even help them out with that. And plus, that's exposing one, two, maybe a whole household to the love
And we're
of flying.
available to come into school too, by the way.
So you have a myriad of programs that you're actually doing out here.
Absolutely. We love doing it. We love doing it.
I know. I've known you long enough
It's
to
a
know that for
passion.
sure.
It's a passion.
Did we cover everything you wanted to cover today?
I think we have, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So as we wrap up today, just want to remind you to go to tigerflight.org, and you can find out all the information about the purpose of this group, how you can get them to do a flyover for your event, and it would be pretty cool to do that at a wedding. So think about that too.
I didn't think about weddings.
That would be really neat.
That's very good.
That would be very good.
Can we drop some from the plane?
Some rose petals.
No, we don't want to do that.
Rose petals? No. Chief pilot won't let us do that.
No.
We can't drop anything from the airplane.
But we do have smoke coming out of
We
it.
do have
I
smoke.
know, and that really makes
Yes,
you
it
guys
does.
even more visible up in the
it
air.
does.
And of course, are you flying in the air show this year?
Yes.
Here? Okay.
Yes.
So you can also see them at our air show that's going to be here in October, Wings Over North Georgia, and you get a chance to meet them. These guys are so down to earth and so approachable, and of course they would love to share what they're doing with you, and of course they need your help. So today my guest has been Phil Sonny Cataldo and Rich Skid Haynes. Thank you so much,
Thanks
guys. I
thank you,
appreciate it.
Lisa. Thank you so much.
I'm Lisa Smith here on Southern Exposure. Thanks for being with us. We look forward to seeing you around Rome.
Apparel accessories provided by Blue Sky Outfitter on Broad Street in downtown Rome.